Hi there, I'm so glad you are joining us for this edition of On the Horizon. Just a quick reminder that on the horizon we are talking to some people that make up the Church of 434 and asking them to share with us ways that they are on the horizon in the places where God has placed them, meaning where heaven touches earth and where they are able to do some ministry that you might not be aware of. So the guest today is Brooke Dixon. You probably know her from being on the worship team, but she is the daughter of Jeff and Patty Dixon, the sister of Caden Dixon, and there's a lot that she's involved in here. You've seen her on the worship team. She also helps with Sunrise Bible Study. All of our Horizon ministries, I think you have been a part of, and then Christmas Dreams as well. She's jumped into a role there and loved on some very special families, but we'll just kind of give her an opportunity to share with us some other places. Like, I know your job is at Easter Seals, and you have a wonderful environment that you get to step into each and every day. So kind of tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Yeah. So one of my bajillion jobs
Yes.
is at Easter Seals, Florida, and I do a couple different things for them. In the morning, I get to hang out with some awesome high schoolers who are kind of right on the cusp of getting ready to start their life as adults, which is hard.
Yes, it's hard for everyone.
It's hard for everybody, right?
Right.
And these happen to be folks that are on the autism spectrum who might be facing another kind of disability that might get in their way, right?
Okay.
So we have lots of cool discussions about, okay, well, how do we do this, right? How do you walk into those places and advocate for yourself and do the hard stuff, right?
Okay.
So we practice. Yeah.
Oh, how fun.
And it's a fun class. We have a blast. We
About
play.
how many are in your class?
12 on a good day.
Okay.
So nice and small. We've gotten to know
Okay.
each other really well, and most of the time it's a blast.
Okay.
But we also tackle the hard conversations, right?
Okay.
And that's what I do in the morning. And then in the afternoon, I get to go to a place called Daybreak, where I'm the arts and wellness coordinator, which basically means we create these really cool arts activities for folks who are in memory care, which means they might have dementia or a traumatic brain injury, something that might keep them from staying home alone. So they get to be with us and build some community and stuff.
What are the ages of those people that are at Daybreak?
That's what's cool, is it's literally 21 to 95.
Wow.
So we've got this big, broad, funky community of folks who magically fit. You know, we magically get to do life together, and our younger folks really do care for our older folks. And our older folks really get to love on our younger folks, and that creates a cool dynamic that we just get to watch happen and help facilitate.
Okay. Well, I mean, I know that part of your giftedness is got to be strong mercy gifts, because you find yourself a lot of times throughout your life just working with those populations that kind of get overlooked, and you have always kind of brought that to my attention of, here's a population of our society that really needs, I'm going to start crying, that needs love, and your heart is so strong in there, and I just know that you are changing the world there. And do you have maybe a specific situation or story that you can share with us of something cool that
lots of stuff happens, right? It's a cool place to be. But and this wasn't even something that I did, but one of those moments where you just kind of sit back and go, oh wow, God's cool, right? And really and truly, there are not one of us here that aren't here for a reason, right? And I'm, like you mentioned, working with folks that are kind of cast to the side in our communities, and they're really missing out. Because these folks are awesome, and they love folks, and they care for folks, and their hearts are very much alive, right? So I watched one of our younger folks kind of step in a moment where one of our folks was feeling very anxious and afraid. She sometimes has a really hard afternoon, and she's afraid that her family is not going to come and get her. And usually we step in there and have to kind of go, okay, well, Miss So-and-so, she's coming at 3. And I watched as one of our 21-year-olds just stepped right in, sat down beside her in the recliner and said, Miss So-and-so, I'm going to stay here with you. You don't worry, I've got you. And I was like, man, you're just cool. And I got to just see that, right? And I just get to be in the room where it happens, like throw in a Hamilton quote, right?
Right.
Be in the room where it happens, right? And stuff like that happens every day.
Yeah.
Every single day all around me. And if you don't look close, you don't see it, right? So I pray a lot that God will help me to slow down and just kind of take in where I am, right? Because there's lots of work to do. We're doing direct care, and we're serving food, and we're playing, and we're creating, and we're playing games. But the little stuff is the coolest stuff.
And that's really, you get to step in and plan that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because they get to have fun with you, with being activities. And I love her creativeness, other jobs that she's had. I just sit in awe because I know when you were in, was it Tennessee, right? You know, she had a class of nonverbals and just the things that you dreamt up and said, they can do this, you know, and I'm trying to think, did you do Wizard of Oz?
Yeah.
Share about that.
Sure. Yeah, I used to work at a place in Tennessee. It was called the Orange Grove Center. And I worked with some of our folks who maybe had some of the bigger needs, right? Most of the folks I worked with utilized a wheelchair. Most of them did not communicate verbally, but they could communicate.
Yeah.
And they were fun, and they were a blast. And talk about personality plus, right? I mean, we had a big time in there. And we just took 1 week and decided it was Wizard of Oz week. And so we decked out our whole classroom in Wizard of Oz stuff, and we created a scavenger hunt for the whole place to do. And they're like, do your folks really enjoy that? And I'm like, yeah, they do. Come watch, right? And we got to kind of show kind of our community at large at Orange Grove, like, no, we can still have a blast, right? Our time's not done, right? And we did. So we just, made the yellow brick road and hid ruby slippers and had a blast for a week playing in the Wizard of Oz.
So if you ever need help creating experiences, I mean, Brooke is a go-to gal for that, but we're just so honored that you would be our post in the kingdom out in the world. And is there any other of your jobs you want to share with us today that you do?
Sure. I mean, if you ever want to come see me.
Yes.
I also lead ghost tours, right? Which doesn't sound like a thing a church girl would do, but believe it or not, lots of history, lots of fun, and I like telling spooky stories, so you can come and do that with me.
Yeah.
And I teach tiny humans how to do theater stuff. Right. So we're doing a show right now. We're doing Seussical with Wekiva River players, and they're awesome, and they're super cute. So my other 59 jobs.
And help those youngsters find their voice, right? And be heard. And so we're excited. Hopefully, if you didn't know any of that about Brooke, now you do. And so if you have a passion to create experiences, she's always having guests come in and offer different things of making treats with her people at Easter Seals, or putting on shows, coming and singing with them, playing an instrument.
Oh, yeah.
Reach out to Brooke, and you can help and support her in the ways that she's touching and changing the world in her corner of the world. So thanks for being here today and sharing with us, and hopefully you enjoyed getting to know her, and we will see you next time on The Horizon.